Hello there, kia ora, I'm Paul, and this is This Week's The News. On Thursday, MPs voted down the controversial and divisive Treaty Principles Bill 112 to 11 votes, after a long debate session which included touching recognition of those who had passed away who had been fighting the bill, references to a number of the record-breaking amount of submissions, the largest ever protest in the country's history, and a list of reasons why the government is still anti-Māori, but this was a step too far. Said a member of the press gallery, "Thank God we can finally stop platforming David Seymour every 5 minutes. If we want to. Not that we want to, but we totally could." The Green Party has apologised after a staffer accidentally dropped a vape pen from above the tiles of Parliament onto a press stand-up with David Seymour, seen here wondering if that's Guy Fawkes walking into the wrong government building. Sorry, totally just a joke. Before this week's Treaty Principles vote, said a spokesperson for the ACT Party, "The sky is clearly falling and we're the only party who can see it." Te Whatu Ora cost cutting continues, with the Eye of Sauron now falling on areas of the organisation that bring in millions of dollars to our health sector, the team dedicated to hunting down underpayments and fraud. Said Health Minister Simeon Brown, seen here cosplaying as a life-size accurate dozer from Fraggle Rock, "Cutting off our nose to spite our face can be easily fixed by our hard-working medical staff, if we don't mind waiting up to a month to see an ED specialist." After 2 weeks of harassing Green MP Benjamin Doyle based on information the Deputy Prime Minister found on Twitter in a late-night doom scroll, Winston Peters, seen here wondering if that's vodka or gin, has refused to have a one-on-one meeting with Doyle. Said Peters, "The bar is just opened, so I really don't have time to sit down and have an adult conversation right now. It's always easier to vilify someone from a distance after all." Questions have been raised about Elam MP Hamish Campbell, seen here trying on human skin for the first time, about his membership of a secretive religious sect known as the 2x2s, which is being investigated by the FBI over sexual abuse cases. Hamish was confronted by news media over the association, which he downplayed with textbook examples of how people in sects are told to downplay things when they're caught by the media. Said Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, seen here in Parliament during the final reading of the Treaty Principles Bill, which he allowed to move through the expensive process, "What I'm saying to you is, National has a really strong vetting process, as you can see with the team we have now, like former Destiny Church member Ryan Hamilton, admitted bed leg beater Sam Uffindale, wife and mother of animal abusers Barbara Kuriger, our new Justice Committee Chair Andrew Bailey, and the star of Nikki Hagar's Dirty Politics Judith Collins, so I'm sure there's no need for concern." An advisory group has warned Associate Justice Minister Casey Costello, seen here waiting to see if the vape dropped on David Seymour was from one of her lobbyist friends in the tobacco industry, on how the country is losing the battle against organised crime. Said Costello of the report, "Organised crime tends to be coordinated from overseas, but it's New Zealanders that end up paying the price. It's a model we understand really well in New Zealand first, since that's how our party leader approaches his talking points when he starts using US culture war bullshit to scare our voting base." E. coli is being discovered in the water supply in Palmerston North in low-level quantities. The council says nothing is required of residents with concerns, as the water treatment process will take care of it. But also we're wondering if maybe there could have been some kind of water reform that might have happened to stop this from occurring. Oh well, I guess we'll never know. Tauranga Mayor Mahi Drysdale, seen here wondering where the nearest rowing track is, has come under fire for voting for the sale of a local marine precinct in a closed-doors meeting, despite publicly campaigning against the sale. Minutes of the meeting revealed the vote results after being released on request from local MP Sam Uffindale. Said a spokesperson for Drysdale, he just figured that since he lives in Cambridge, he'd never really be impacted by the vote. Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown, seen here demonstrating what is colloquially known as Boomer Zoom, has come under fire for calling into a committee meeting with a video call while driving. Road safety campaigners have called the act dangerous, while the mayor, who campaigned on cutting wasteful spending, has said it's just another reason why he needs a limo, like government MPs. A NASA balloon the size of a rugby field was launched from Wānaka on Thursday to help take measurements of the planet's ionosphere, as well as other weather data. Said a spokesperson for the local chapter of Voices for Freedom, "It's a Chinese spy balloon with a new variant of the fake disease that doesn't exist." I mean, clearly. And it was brought over here by that Italian army that were going to invade when the COVID hit. Not that COVID existed. You see, we were right the whole time. A large-scale longitudinal report from Otago University has highlighted the high rates of gendered abuse female MPs and politicians get in this country, with some respondents pointing out this abuse as part of the reason some of them have chosen to withdraw from public service. Said a spokesperson for Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters, "This report is really concerning. We had no idea so many of our voters were this active on social media." KiwiSaver accounts have been in a state of flux this week as international markets have seesawed after Donald Trump's instigation, then pause of wholesale tariffs. The Prime Minister has told people not to panic though because he feels the country is well positioned to weather the tariff storm. Look, what I'm saying to you is you should just be wealthy and sorted like me. Then the whims of a perfectly lovely, very stable genius halfway around the world won't impact you quite so much. A new report released this morning shows more children this year are living in material hardship than last year. The report cited a 0.9% increase in measurable markers over the last year, which the report authors said were exacerbated by the ongoing cost of living crisis. Said Child Poverty Reduction Minister Louise Upston, seen here inviting you to take part in the aversion therapy they gave Malcolm McDowell in A Clockwork Orange, "Don't worry, we'll just change the targets again so it looks like we're succeeding." And finally, TVNZ has announced a short-run order of a New Zealand version of the hit game show The Chase. To be filmed in Australia on the Australian version sets and with their chasers, the process of finding both contestants and a host will begin soon. I'm not saying I wouldn't take the hosting gig if someone was to offer it. Said the show's producers, "It's an opportunity for Kiwis to finally show that they are smarter than their Aussie neighbours, because we've had our doubts lately based on who they voted for." Right, that's this week's The News. Thanks again for supporting, and we'll see you all next week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully I can find a way out of this building.